It's going to be literally 20 minutes. I'm just testing out the camera to see is everything working. I'm going to do one run of 5 core aliens, and then I'm going to Stuart, how's things? Can you hear me? Yeah, good. Yeah, I'm just going to be on for like 15 minutes. I want to test to see is the camera working and the mic working. And then I'm going to be watching the late night live with Little Bro. So I'm going to probably do one run of 5 core aliens and then I will switch it off. And that's it. Right. I got a few orders for 5 core aliens today, so I'm gonna knock a few 5 core aliens out this evening to catch up on things. To straighten the wire, I normally just pull it off the reel and stretch it. You can attach to your drill and then spin the drill, but it's much faster just to stretch it. You don't need to stretch it too much, just till you feel a bit of giving it. Especially when you're doing 5 core aliens, because it's just time consuming. Taking one core, putting one core into the drill, stretching that, taking it out again, put another one in. So it's much quicker just to stretch it by hand. 3. Four. 5. Now, this is a 5 core alien, so if you're doing a 3 core alien, you're going to make your D core with one of the cores that you're using and then pull the D core off and use that as your Clapton. But if you're making an alien with more than 3 cores, you need to use the D core, use a larger gauge for your D core. So I'm going to use the 24 gauge for the D core, which will give me a bigger wrap on the alien. So 24 gauge here. Try not to stab myself in the finger. L shape. Now this I've purchased this a couple of weeks ago, and it is the business a company in a company in Germany. Sorry, not Germany, Czech Republic. It's a tool for jewelry making, and a normal hand drill will spin about 2,000 to 3,000 revolutions per minute. This will do 18,000 revolutions per minute. So it's a lot faster and a lot smoother than a drill. And you can use a foot pedal, so I can use my hands. So it's a lot easier. Right. 36 gauge, you're going to wrap the aliens with 36 gauge twisted messes. So when you're making your decoy, you want to wrap the Clapton the opposite direction you're going to wrap your alien at the end. So people normally have a preference to what way they're going to wrap their alien. So I prefer to wrap it clockwise, so I'm going to do the decor anti-clockwise. If you do it the same way, it's just going to be a mess. So that's the right rotation. This tool here has a very small chuck as well. So a drill has like a chuck about 5 times bigger than that. So it's a lot easier on this to get your center. And if you're centered in your chuck, there's less movement when you're rotating the drill, which means it's easier to keep your wraps even and everything's just neater and better. So it was only €80 as well from the Czech Republic. It was cheap as chips. Right. Okay. So when you have your Clapton done, you need to loosen the Clapton. So put your drill in reverse of what you are Claptoning it. So I'll put it into clockwise and hold the end you've cut in your fingers. There. Hold it in your fingers and run the drill for like 3 or 4 seconds, and it just to loosen the whole thing up so it'll slide off the core wire. So that should be moving. Snip the end. Right. Yeah, that's moving nicely. So when you cut this end, that should slide off, and when you're sliding it off, just be careful. Just try and be delicate with it because you don't want to damage any of the wraps, because if you damage the wrap when you pull it off, it's going to mess up when you're wrapping it back onto your 5 cores. So just be gentle with it. Cut this end, and that should slide off easy. So there you go. That's your D-core. So that was a D-core on a 24 gauge. And again, the reason for the 24 gauge is because we're using 5 cores of 28 gauge. So you need to go up in gauge, or thicker wire basically, to do your D-core. And if you're using 3 cores in your Alien, you use the same gauge that you're using in your Alien, if that makes sense. Right. Now this bit is the most important bit. So the most important bit of it all is getting your 5 cores to sit even. 5 cores. There we go. Getting your 5 cores to sit even. So get it out, chuck. Okay. So grab one end and make an L shape at all of the ends when they're even at even length. And what I do is take like 2. If you're using 4 cores, take 2, 2, and 1. 2, 2, and 1 in like a triangle, and put them into each of the 3 slots in the chuck. Right. Try and make sure that the cores leaving the chuck are sort of close or pinched together, because otherwise it's going to vibrate and it's going to be a pain in the ass. There you go. And just make sure it's good and tight as well, because the last thing you want is one strand just jumping it, which is probably going to happen. Yes, it is. Damn. Right, start again. Smallest end length. It can be a pain, but just take your time, you'll get it. Okay. No, I'm playing ball at all. Okay. I think that's it. When you get them secured, try and untangle, try and get them all separated and run your fingers down to get them all even. And snip the ends clean. Okay. Right. Where are we? To get an even start, what I use is some of these Pantino alien makers. There we are. And that's just to get the from the chuck on after the first Pantino alien maker. I just use these C clamps because the alien makers can be a bit hit and miss, but this is just to get the start, to get the 5 cores side by side. Right, I think we're pretty good there. If you want to know the best swivels to get, it's Croc swivels. I was using like just normal fishing swivels for ages, and the Croc is Krok, Croc, they're American. I got them on Amazon, but if you ask any coil builder that knows this stuff, he'll tell you Croc swivels is the way to go to the business. There. When you're securing this end, you don't need to go crazy tight. Just enough so it straightens. If it tightens too much, you're going to put too much pressure on the swivels. Just put a little bit of pressure on it. And you should be fine. Right. So what I normally do is I'll straighten it first, the clamp. Tighten it there. And I'll put a C-clamp. These little jobbies here. I got them 3D Vape from Russia. There's a couple of American companies do it as well. They're very handy. Obviously the job is to keep your cores flat. And I put one at the start, one in the middle, and then normally one at the end. I don't think the one at the end does much, but I think it's just a habit of doing it. And as I run on, I'll take one off at a time. There we go. Okay. I'm not exactly central, but I'm not too far off. Go down. All right, I'm going to stretch this decoy. I'll be back in a second. Right. I don't know if I can show you this. That is. You probably won't be able to see that. Deco. No. Right. So what I do is wrap the deco around the wire that's sticking out of the chuck. Wrap it around 4 or 5 times just so it doesn't come off. And then slowly does up. So for nailing, you're going to lead about 5 degrees. The Clapton tutorial I done was obviously 90 degrees, but if you go 90 degrees with an alien, it's going to be constantly overlapping. So you need to lead about 5 degrees. So 95 degrees. Always be ahead of yourself and just take it slow. If the cores collapse at all, use your nylon pliers and squeeze just to flatten them out. About 8, I leave it about 8 inches. It gives room for the wrap to sort of move itself. That's basically me at the end. That's the last bit of the wrap. Now, what I like to do is I'll force the wrap to back up on itself for the last half an inch, and it's just to secure it. So when I cut it, the wrap isn't loosening on itself, and you could end up losing a few inches because the wrap is not tight. There we go. And we're pretty good. We had one spot here where it backed up on itself, but that was my fault for not leading it enough. But other than that, it's perfect. Right. Cut both ends. I'll cut actually just to the right side of this mess, and then I can. That's all good while that. See it is. Oh, yes. Skin Vapor, how's things? Before I go, I might actually just make. I don't know how I do this now. This is the first time I've ever done a live, so. How do I make people moderators? How do I do that? Stuart, if you're still there, can you tell me how I make people moderators? Stuart is now a moderator for your channel. Congratulations. Skint Vapor. Skint Vapor is now a moderator for your channel. Dave Flowers. Dave Flowers is now a moderator for your channel. Okay, there you go. Right, I'm going to wrap a few coils and then I'll head over and watch the late night vape show because I want to see how Little Bro gets on. Thanks for watching, lads. Stuart, Skint Vapor, Dave. I popped my sherry. Right, we're gonna wrap a couple of coils and then I'll finish up. If I can find my. Here we are. Right. 5 core aliens, 3 mil, and I don't know what the length is for a coil, but I just gauge it from I gauge it. Basically, it's the length of one of my coil spools. That's the way I work it. Sips. So as I said in my Clapton tutorial, I always bend the U shape at the end and squeeze, and that basically stops any chance of the wrap moving. Because if you don't do that, it has a tendency to slide off, and then you've got gaps in your wrap, and your alien looks like crap, which is not what you want. Right, okay. I'll wrap this. Five wraps dual coil. So the specs for these are 5 wraps, 3 millimeters, dual coil, and they are 5 cores of 28 gauge Kanthal, wrapped in 36 gauge nichrome, all twisted mess as well, and the Omet dual coil at 0.13. So they're a good coil for mechs or regulated devices. Right, can you see this? Red-Eyed Loon, how's things? Right, lads, I'm going to finish up. Red-Eyed Loon, before I go, you are going to be a moderator also. Congratulations. Add moderator. Right, so moderator, Stuart, Skint, Vapor, Red-Eyed Loon, and Dave Flowers. Right, lads, I'm going to go. Thanks for watching, and I'll probably do one of these once a week, just while I'm building coils. Maybe a bit of music in the background. I'll do a different build every week, maybe. I'll see you over on the Late Night Vape Show in the chat. See yous.